I'd like now to invite to the stage our Director General for Translation, who is also Chairman of the Management Board of the Translation Centre for the Bodies of the European Union, Christos Elenides.
Dear guests, dear colleagues, let me start with an honest and frank statement. It's not a disclaimer. My closing speech has not been drafted by ChatGPT, but by a human, myself with some colleagues. What an inspiring these 3 days have really been. Almost 3,000 language professionals from close to 100 countries engaged in productive conversations, vibrant discussions between people joining online and in person. In fact, we had about 2,500 people following the event online using our conference platform and over 400 participants here in Brussels. I am glad that so many people participated in this year's TEF here in person and out there in the virtual world. But the time has come to wrap up the 10th edition of our Translating Europe Forum. I would like to take a moment as we close this event to thank our keynote speakers, panelists, and hosts of all the online sessions. Please join me in a big round of applause. I know I'm the only thing standing between you and your lunch right now, so I will try to be brief. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation outside our own conference walls here in Brussels is tough, to say the least. We still have the war across the EU border, and the brutal aggression of Russia against Ukraine counts 625 days today with thousands dead. And the situation in the Middle East has intensified the horrific times that humanity experiences right now. The indiscriminate terrorist attacks across Israel by Hamas can only solidify our resilience as EU and amplify our responsibility to always recall the importance of the protection of all civilians in line with international humanitarian law. We must also express our grave concern for the severely deteriorating humanitarian situation in Gaza and call for continued, rapid, safe, and unobstructed humanitarian access and aid to reach those in need through all necessary measures, including humanitarian corridors and pauses for humanitarian needs. We have a difficult winter ahead of us, and our economy and energy issues are still not resolved while world leaders continue to meet trying to address the global climate emergency. Not easy. These new political and socioeconomic challenges against the backdrop of ongoing long-term and far-reaching social and technological challenges. Many professions are being confronted with these challenges, not just ours, and the continuous evolution through digitalization changes the world of work and the nature of our jobs. Over these 3 days, we looked back at the past few years in the world of translation and at the scale and pace of change we have experienced. It has been a journey with lots of winding highways and important crossroads. But it has also been an exciting and fascinating journey, and the journey continues. We have looked at today's challenges to reinforce our collective understanding of what the latest AI applications mean for us, looking at where the opportunity lies, where the risks linger, and where we need to invest clearly, first and foremost, in our people and their skill sets. We have also gazed into the future. We have talked about the need to develop new skills, new processes to maintain and manage quality in the AI era, how to manage expectations, and how to prepare today's linguists for tomorrow's job markets. As we wrap up this 10th edition of the Translating Europe Forum, I would like to pick out 3 evident takeaways that I see emerging from our discussions. The first takeaway, listening to all of you, is that we find and nurture excellence in our ability to manage, adapt, and thrive. It is perhaps in the DNA of linguists to be curious about what is new and what is different. You all struggle to understand change, find out about it, and of course, be critical and assess it. But come rain or shine, you have the capacity to embrace change and adapt to new ways of doing things. AI was the focus of a lot of debate and discussion these 3 days, and rightly so. It is, after all, a big leap in technology, not a small-scale change or a new gadget that we are adding to our existing set of tools. That is why the Commission is getting ready to adopt a new package of measures to regulate AI in the EU in a way that it encourages innovation, boosts financing, but also mitigates the risks to ensure safety, security, and transparency. And don't forget that 10 days ago, only 10 days ago, the G7 leaders agreed on a set of international guiding principles on AI and a voluntary code of conduct for AI developers. These guiding principles and code of conduct will complement at international level the legally binding rules that the EU co-legislators are currently finalizing through the AI Act. Given the scale of change, it is useful to take a historical perspective of the profession, moving through decades of major changes in terms of how we work, and remember that we have been there, done this, handled the change several times in the past. We have looked at the long history of communication and information technologies. I was out there looking at the DGT Museum, and we have moved from dictaphones and typewriters to computers and digital storage devices, from PCs to supercomputers, as it was mentioned in the last panel, the big enabler of why AI has taken the big leap today, the supercomputers. From the rise of the internet 30 years ago to the technological advancements in AI today. Our methods and channels of communication may have changed radically, but we're still serving the same purpose. We help people communicate clearly across different languages and cultures. The second takeaway from me is the pursuit of excellence through continuous investment, and this is a term that I heard in one of the panels today, continuous investment in lifelong learning. Our focus on developing new skills so that we remain relevant and current. Not only because 2023 happens to be in Europe, the European Year of Skills, but because when big changes come, there is no room for complacency. Yesterday's skills and training will not be enough for tomorrow's linguists. Equally important is to avoid hasty decisions. We know that the foundation, again mentioned in today's panels, remains solid, expert language knowledge, and that's the foundation. And our discussions have highlighted and confirmed the everlasting need to safeguard and uphold language skills as the foundation of the translation profession. The greatest investment we can make to adapt to change is investing actually in our own unique human skills, our curiosity, our exploring and learning mindset, and our critical thinking. For many years now, in response to successive changes, universities, private companies, and public administrations have responded by expanding and rounding out the skills and the profile of translators. Our own European Masters in Translation network has also expanded the range of competences that university courses should cover, including digital literacy, negotiating skills, data ethics, critical analysis, and much more. But there is still a lot of important work ongoing, and I encourage you all to get involved. And that leads me to my third takeaway: from skills to jobs. Some say that 40 years ago there was no such thing as a language industry. Today it has become a real ecosystem. The profession has gained incredible breadth, complexity, and diversity. There is still a lot of interest from investors in the industry, and growth does remain solid. From being an isolated, narrow technical profession, it has become a truly multifaceted industry requiring a multi-skilled workforce. I'm sorry, I have to repeat this. It has become a truly multifaceted industry requiring a multi-skilled workforce. We see that some translation students go on to have diverse careers in the language industry in a range of different roles: content strategists and designers, writers and editors, computational linguists, language engineers, multicultural communicators, language technology coordinators, and the list goes on and on and on and on. I am convinced that most jobs needed in 2030 have not yet even been invented. Very often, these diverse careers don't leave aside the skill of translation, but build on it, expand on it. They involve translating jargon into accessible language and noise into meaning. Still translating, still listening for precise meaning and embracing and empathizing with the reader, anticipating needs and misunderstandings, breaking down barriers. It makes me wonder whether it is time to expand the title of this annual forum to reflect this span of expertise and skills. Perhaps in the next years, we should consider relabeling it into a European language industry forum or anything else. But I am curious also about your thoughts on this. Please don't forget to send your feedback about the event and comments in the survey that you will soon receive before you head back home. But before you do that, let's also take a moment to acknowledge and express our appreciation to all the linguists working across the globe with incredible resilience in places of extreme adversity. When tragedy strikes, we think first, of course, of sending humanitarian aid, but across the world, linguists are hard at work too. We have seen some inspiring online presentations, and I recommend you take the time to watch the recordings in case you missed them. The presentations on strength in words and language rights in crisis were a powerful reminder of how you can help. How linguists in the public and private sector alike help ensure that people who were forced to flee their home country can get information in their own language on an evolving situation, their rights and life opportunities. It shows that even in the toughest of times, language services are vital. Your work is vital. It encapsulates how we can use our skills to excel at creating connections between people, languages, and cultures, drawing on the three threads that I have explained of excellence that weave through the translation profession. Your ability and curiosity to embrace new things and adapt again and again. Your desire to understand, explore, and constantly learn new skills. And your ability to augment, broaden, and expand this diverse profession. This is the path to maintaining excellence as translators. I am convinced, just like the lyrics of a song go, that you should continue to love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. And you will continue to excel at what you do. Thank you, all of you, for your contribution during this wonderful event. I would like to personally thank Anna and Micha. If you look right behind you at the entrance of this room, special thanks to the people that kept the wheels in motion, to all the DGT trainees for their support and perseverance through the conference, all 45 of them. My personal thanks and congratulations to the organizing team here in DGT. Monica and her team, please stand up. Elisabetta can do that too. Last but not least, thanks to all of the participants, you, whether here in person or out there, online. You made this conference a success and a celebration of the translation profession. Thank you very much. I look forward to see you again next year at the 11th edition of the Translating Europe Forum. Have an excellent weekend, and for those of you traveling home, have a safe trip. Thanks a lot.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Do we drag it out or do we do it quickly? Thanks to everyone.
I'm not getting off this stage.
Thanks to everyone.